Hello everyone, Chance here. A lot of you guys might know me under the name Cyraxx, which is what, a lot of you guys have known me under for the better half of a very long time now. But due to recent events and misunderstandings that people are just not understanding and all the bad stuff that come with that name, I'm retiring that name and I am stepping away from social media to focus on trying to find a manager who is a real, actual manager, not some random, person, messaging me. And I know what you're thinking, well, why would you want to retire that name, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a reason. It's because I do not want to be associated with any of that bad stuff. A lot of people say, oh, well, you accepted money from, a known pedo. That may be true, but there's also a legitimate explanation for that. See, when I originally got sent the $50 by that Uncle Gum dude, I did not know at the time that he was a pedophile. I did not know. He literally hit me up out of literally nowhere. Don't even know how he found me, honestly. And he sent me $50. And after he sent me the $50, I proceeded to go to Amazon to, purchase a new guitar amp. Because I did want to get a brand new amp. That way I can separate and differentiate from the two different amps. I wanted to get, a different style amp for real cheap. It wasn't until I made the Amazon purchase that my best friend Ethan hit me up and filled me in about who Uncle Gum was. So as I was in the middle of purchasing said amplifier, when I got the message from Ethan, I stopped everything I was doing. I looked at the photo and I went on to do my own research. I dug down that rabbit hole and found out that Uncle Gum is actually a convicted child predator. So I proceeded to cancel the order from Amazon. And what people aren't understanding is that money is being withheld by either Amazon or by Cash App. I don't know who it's being held by at this current moment, but I do not have that money in my Cash App. I don't know where it went to. But people are running around saying that I support him because at the time, before I knew that he was a pedophile, he asked me if, he could, do a style inspired by me. And I told him, yeah, absolutely, that'd be awesome. I thought that was really cool that somebody would want to do something like that to honor my name and my legacy. I thought that was a really cool thing. I did not know that this man was going to copy my entire style that I do with the warning beanie and the matching skull and crossbone gloves. Once I found all this out, I literally took my warning beanie and my skull and crossbone gloves and I put them up. Because I do not want one of my signature looks being connected to someone that evil. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking, well, dude, why would you want to retire the Cyraxx name? Literally for the same reasons. Because I don't want to be attached to anything negative. And that name has had a very, very negative outlook on me. Like, people have made money off of me and that name for years. And unfortunately, I don't have an actual manager or an actual agent that can help me to navigate how to legally handle this stuff. Because just last night, I got informed that N-Word Boy and William Gloryhole have been in talks with Adult Swim, the TV company. From my understanding, they sent in a demo of a TV series that this guy called Lord of, like, something or other. I forget what his full name was. Like, Lord of Dance or some shit. I don't know. But they had sent in a demo of the episodes that person created utilizing my likeness and my image. And so I ended up typing up a cease and desist letter, basically telling this dude, like, hey, either you need to get in contact with me so we can work out a deal to where I get paid, because that is my image and likeness that you are using. You do not have the right to it, and you need to pay me, or, you need to take the videos down before legal action does get taken. Because you are using my image and my likeness without my permission, or my knowledge, or my consent. Therefore, you are literally committing all kinds of copyright infringement. There's a lot of stuff that goes with that. And I also proceeded to make, a video on it as well, basically telling the guy, like, look, like, you need to take these videos down, or you need to get in contact with me, one of the two. Because I'm willing to make a deal with the guy if he's willing to get in contact with me. But because of all this bad stuff that's been attached to that name, I don't want anything to do with that name. I never have wanted, like, ever since all this bad stuff started happening, I've been wanting to move away from that name because I am tired of all this negative stigma and all this negative stuff being attached to me by this community of people that I don't even know. This community of evil people known as trolls. Like, I don't know any of these people. I've never met any of them in my life except for Marty. But, like, I don't want to be attached to that kind of negativity. Like, I don't want that for myself. And so until then, until I can figure out what to do, or until I can, get an agent or an actual manager to actually help, legitimately help, not some fake ass person hitting me up on Facebook saying, hey, I'm a manager. No, like, I need a real, actual agent and manager who can help to take care of all this legal stuff that I don't know how to deal with. Because I don't know how to go about going after William and everybody legally. I don't know how to go about getting that Facebook group shut down. I don't know how to go about doing all this stuff to where I can start making money again. Which is why I need an agent and I need a manager. Because I have no problem uploading content. I have no problem doing stuff. But I need somebody that can help me out with social media as far as, keeping these trolls away from me. Or if, one of my social media sites, for example, say I get a brand new setup, right? Say I get a brand new PC and I start streaming on Kick and I start doing the whole VTuber thing again, or I just start posting in general. And say the trolls come in and they shut my account down by mass reporting it. I need a manager who can then speak with, Kick staff or Twitch staff or whatever platform I'm on at that time to be like, look, this is what's going on. You need to reinstate this channel. This is what's actually happening. Like, I need somebody that can actually legitimately help in that department. Because I don't know how to go about keeping my stuff from getting banned by trolls. I don't know how to go about keeping these trolls at bay, which is why I need help. And like I said, I don't want some fucking rando, some random person in my fucking Facebook being like, oh, I'll be your manager, when really they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, I need somebody that legitimately and truthfully and honestly knows what the fuck they're doing. So I can focus on my job as a content creator, as a music artist, as somebody that runs his own clothing line. Like, I want to be able to focus on those things. But I can't do that unless I have somebody to actually help me out with, keeping these people off my back. Which is why, until I can find a legitimate manager and a legit agent that can help me out, then I will not be posting on social media for a while. Because I do genuinely need help with all this stuff. And when I come back, I will be going under a completely different name because I do not want to be attached to the negativity. I understand that name is the name that is popular for me. I understand that. I get that that's the name that made me famous. But with that name comes a lot of messed up stuff that I never wanted anything to do with in the first place. There's a lot of bad stuff that comes with that name that I don't want to be attached to. I want to move on with my life. I want to do better for myself, for my friends, and for my family. Do I want to continue to do content? Yes. Do I want to continue to make music and be able to do shows again like I used to? 100% yes. And do I want to, start working on films again and start, working back on my clothing line, Hollow Hearts Apparel? Yes, I do. But in order for that to happen, I need people that actually know their way through the legal system who can legitimately actually help and, help that stuff happen. And in order for that to happen, I need to get away from the Cyraxx brand and name. I do not want to be attached to it. Because for the past 6 years, I have been trying to get away from that name. I have been trying to move away from that name, but it's like nobody wants to let me move on from that name, and I don't understand why. Like, I get that it's the name that blew up. I get it. But at the same time, that's not what I ever wanted to be known as. To be honest with you, that name was supposed to be a placeholder until I found a new name. Like, that name I came up with was literally just a placeholder until I came up with a new name. And it just happened to be that that's the name that somehow, some way blew up. And I still don't understand how it blew up. Like, I still don't get it. But I do not want to be attached to that name. That name has a lot of bad memories and a lot of bad vibes connected to it. And I do not want to be connected to any of that stuff anymore, period. If I'm going to be successful doing content, doing things that I used to do, having fun, I need to get away from that name. I need to get away from that image. I need to change up my image entirely, which, if you guys have not noticed, I've started to do already. As you guys can tell with, my profile picture and the last couple videos where I started to show off my mask and my new look a little bit more. But, like I said, I no longer want to be connected to that name. That name is not something I am proud of. That is not something that I can look back on when I'm older and my kids are grown. I don't want them to look back on that name and be like, oh, this is a bad legacy. No. When I'm on my deathbed and I'm on my deathbed and I'm on my last moments of death, I want to be able to look back on my life and back on my name and be like, yo, I actually did something amazing. I want to look back and be like, hey, this name, outside of this name, this is something I can be proud of. I don't want to have to sit there on my deathbed looking back 80, 90 years from now and be like, yo, this legacy fucking sucks. When I look back on my legacy and my time here on earth, I want to be proud of what I left behind. And that name it's not something I can be proud of. I used to think that it could be. But as of late, it's not happening. Which is why I'm not only going to be looking at re-registering a whole brand new name, I'm going to be coming back with a brand new look. I'm going to be coming back under a whole new name and everything. And once I have my name and my look set out, which I'm pretty sure I have at this point, then I will be proceeding to, during that time period, which is going to be very soon, I'm not only going to be working on refining my look, I'm also going to be looking for an agent and a manager who can actually help put a stop to all this shit that's going on. Because I want to be able to do stuff again. I want to be able to stream again. I want to be able to do gameplay videos again. And, do things I used to enjoy for you guys. But I cannot do that until I move away from the Cyraxx name, which is what I'm working on. And like I said, I understand that a lot of you guys love that name. I get that that's, what made me famous. I get that. But it's not what I wanted for myself. Because, see, I take pride in what I do. I take pride in doing my gameplay videos. I take pride in doing my live streams. And I can't take pride in something that's been tarnished. I can't do it. Which is why, effective immediately, I am permanently retiring, never to be used again by anyone at all whatsoever. I am permanently retiring that name, and that name is not allowed to be used by anyone. Because there may come a day in the very distant future, many years down the road, where I may want to revive that name for one last round. So therefore, I am not going to allow anybody else to use that name. I am retiring that, and I am reserving that for myself. Way later down the road, like, 30, 40 years from now type shit. But I also will be going under a brand new moniker and a brand new name. Because as I said, I want to do better for myself. I want to be better. I want to do better. And I want to get away from this troll shit. But in order for me to get away, I need to get rid of that name. I need to find a manager and an agent who can help me get a lawyer, who can start the process of going through the legal stuff that I need to go through to get rid of these people that have caused my life to become a living nightmare for the last 6 to 8 years. I need to get away from that. I need to start doing better for myself. So with that being said, I hope you guys understand everything that I spoke about with the whole money thing, with that Uncle Gum guy that's a complete creep. You know, and hopefully you guys understand why I'm stepping away. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm not going to be on Facebook, because I will. I'm still going to talk to everybody on Facebook. I'm still going to hang out with my friends. I'm still going to talk to y'all on Messenger, but I will not be posting for a long while. Because I seriously want to start doing better for myself. And there are certain things that I need to do to make that happen. So, with that being said, I will catch you guys in the morning. I have more stuff that I have to do and that I have to get done. I may do 1 or 2 streams showing off my new look. But outside of that, I'm keeping it quiet. I'm not doing anything. And I am going to be doing stuff behind the shadows for a long while. So yeah. Peace. And I hope that when I do come back that you guys, will join me on this journey into the next chapter in my life. Peace.